So we're going to draw the intersection of two 3-inch pipes. And the first step you need to do is you actually need to lay out the two pipes. So I have a 3-inch diameter pipe coming into another 3-inch diameter pipe right here. Each one of these shoulders, I guess the best way to put it, is 1 inch long. This is 2 inches long up here. So that is the first step in creating the T intersection of two 3-inch pipes. Now we're going to do a little bit of math. We have to know what the circumference is of our 3-inch diameter pipe. And the formula for circumference is diameter times pi, which is 3.14. So here we have it. Here's my 3 inches pipe times pi, 3.14. That's going to equal 9.42 inches. Now I'm going to divide that by 12, and you'll see in a second why I'm going to divide it by 12, but that's going to give me an interval length of 0.79. So the next thing you're going to see is the reason that I need to divide that by 12 and what we're going to do with that. All right, now the next step. What I'm going to do is, and I've just done this in construction lines, from the end of my 3-inch diameter horizontal pipe, I've moved over about 3/8 of an inch. And the reason I did that is I just want to have enough space on the paper to do this drawing anyways. And then at the top, I put a construction line all the way across the top up here. That's even with the type of my 3-inch vertical piece of pipe. Now, excuse me. Next thing to do is we're going to set up a whole series of lines going across here. And what I need to do is I'm going to take my ruler. Now, this is an engineer's ruler, so it works in tenths. Let's see if I can get this up here. I actually put my math formula up here at the top so we can see it. Remember that each one of these steps, I guess is a better way to call it, is going to be 0.79. Now, I can't measure 0.79, so I'm just going to take on my ruler. I'm going to grab my compass. I'm going to go to one of the numbers here, and I'm going to set my compass to 0.8 of an inch. Okay, that's all I did. Now, I'm going to step this off coming from this first intersection right here, and I'm just going to make a mark. And I'm going to count these. I'm going to do 12 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Come on, there you go. 10, 11, and then 12. Okay, now, once I've got all of those marked off, I'm going to take my triangle and I'm going to use the triangle here, and I'm going to make vertical marks going right on those lines. And I'm just coming down past the center line of the horizontal 3-inch diameter pipe. That's all I need to do here. These last two are going to be a little tougher to get because of my camera setup, but we'll see what we can do here. Well, maybe not. Okay, so that's the last one. Okay, so the distance from here to here is going to be somewhere around 9.42 inches. Let's just double check that, right? So I'm going to put my ruler on here. And what do I got? Well, 9.3, which I think is going to be close enough. Yeah, about 9.3 and a half, 9.35. So I'm off a little bit, but that's okay. So long as we've got equal spacing down the length of this right now. All right, now the next step, I'm going to take the measure my compass here, and I'm going to measure out the radius of this 3-inch diameter pipe. So I'll just do that right there. And then I'm going to swing an arc. We'll just double check it and see if it comes out good. It does. So we're just going to swing an arc right there. Now, I'm not going to change my compass setting, and I'm going to divide this arc up. So I start in this upper corner right here, and I strike. Then I come down to the intersection of my arc and the center line of my pipe, and I strike. Then I come over to this side, and I strike. Then I go up to the intersection up here, and I strike again. Okay, now, next step. We're going to take a line. We're going to come from the intersection of the center line of the vertical pipe and the center line of the horizontal pipe. So I'm going to come right from that intersection up to the corner where the two pipes join on this side and also on this side right here. Then I'm going to get my T-square here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the intersection on the arc and that point right there. So I come right to there. And I'm going to draw a line straight down until I hit that angled line that I just drew. So do that all the way across here. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to number these things. I'm going to try and find my red pen, see how this one works. See if it works. Yeah, it does. Okay. And we're going to number these all from left to right. So, oh, you know what? I goofed. I got to go all the way up to the center line of the diameter here. That was a mistake for me. There. So I'll just extend these up. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to number these. So this one out here. This is going to be point number 1. Right beside it is point number 2, number 3, number 4. And then we're going to count down. This is going to be 3, 2, and 1. All right. So remember that our gap between each of these lines is supposed to be about 0.79. So that's the gap between each of those lines. That's going to give us our total circumference from this line right here to this line over here of 9.42 inches. So what we're going to do now is we're going to number across the top. And this is going to be number 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to count down 3, 2, 1. And then it's going to go up 2, 3, 4. Then down again 3, 2, 1. So that's how you number that horizontal pattern development out. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our compass and we're going to do some measurements. So I'm going to go to right where I have point number 1 here, and that's along this line. And I'm going to measure from point number 1 on down to where it intersects the V that I've got drawn in here. Now, I've got that measurement. Let me just double check that. Just make sure it's good. Yep, it is. Now, whoops, I just spun that with my hand. All right, now I'm going to come to any intersection where I have a 1. So like right there. And I'm just going to strike a line. Da, 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 da. Here's another 1. Let's come to that intersection and strike. And then the very last one over here and strike. Now, so I've got all the number 1s lined up. Now I'm going to go to the number 2 and I'll bring that one out compass wise to right there. And then I'll come to the number 2s and repeat that process I just did for the number 1s. All right, number 3s. And then the last one, number 4s. Okay, so that should be all of those things marked off. Now, I can just show you this. If I line up my little strike marks with my T-square, you'll see that the point number 4 is in line with that intersection right there. And it would be the same thing for the 3s, the 2s, and the 1s. All right, now the last part of this one half of the development is to actually draw in my curve. So I'm going to start over here, and this can just be done by tracing. So I'm just connecting the, whoops, that's not so good. Doesn't have to be a beautiful piece of art, but just something like that. Now I'm going to go up to here. So that gives us our pattern for the horizontal piece of the pipe. Now the next thing is we need to do the pattern for the vertical piece of pipe. So I'm going to have to set up to show you that. Okay, so I was wrong a minute ago. This isn't the pattern for the horizontal pipe. This is the pattern for the vertical pipe. That's this pipe up here, okay? Now, we got to develop the pattern for the horizontal one. And how you do that is I'm going to put my compass point on the center line here, and I'm going to bring it in until I measure off the radius again. I'll just swing it down here and see how close I am. It's a little off. My center line must be off just a tad. That's okay. We'll kind of split the difference. Yeah. Now, the other thing that I would advise is at school is that you most definitely use the larger size piece of paper. I'm working on B size paper here because that's all I have at home, but I would expect that you would want to use C as in cat, or C size paper at home. If not, you can do kind of what I'm trying to get accomplished here. Okay, so now I got to divide my arc here up into equal points. So I'm going to start here. I didn't change my compass at all. And I'll just swing that arc. And I'll come up to the corner here, and I will swing that arc. And now I'm going to start to draw lines. I wonder if I can do this without putting it down on that paper. Yeah, I think I can actually. I'm going to come from this first strike point over to here. And I'm going to go all the way across the paper to the other end. So I just lined up on my strike line there, and my strike there, and over here. And I'll come right from here, and I'll just go right across. Then I'll do the same thing with this guy down here. Okay. And then I've already got this one. Now, we're going to number up these lines so that we can keep things straight. This line intersects with line number 1 right here. So this is point number 1. This line lines up with point number 2. So this is 2. This line strikes number 3. And then our center line strikes number 4. So I'm going to show you what I've done since the last time I had the video camera going. Excuse me. I've laid out my pipe for the horizontal pipe here. Simply came off the end points and I came down 3/4 of an inch or an inch or so down on the paper, and I started laying out my 0.79 spacing, really 0.8. So I put down 12 divisions of that all the way down to there. So the very bottom here, that should be somewhere around 9.4 inches. If it's not exactly 9.4, that's fine, okay? So now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring this up so you can see the entirety of this up here. There we go. And what we need to do is we need to start to use our compass to measure off some distances. So the first distance that I want to measure off is the number 1. So that's the distance from here to that intersection right there at the top. So it comes from the corner of the pipe to the upper corner of the V. Now, down here on my ladder, for lack of a better way to count, there's 12 divisions here. I want to go to the middle division, which is 6 down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to number these, right? So this is going to be number 1 here, going up. Number 2. Number 3. And number 4. So I'm going to come down here and I'll show you this down here. So then this becomes 2, 3, and 4 down here. Okay. So right now I've got that measurement for my number 1. So I'm going to bring my compass to point number 1. I guess I'll bring it here and show you. And I'm going to take and strike number 1. So that gives me my first point. Now, I'm going to do the same. I won't show you all these measuring things, but just to reiterate the point, I'm going to go up here to number 2. And I'm going to measure number 2. There we go. Now I'll come to every point that has a number 2 on it. And I'll strike those lines. So there they go. All right, so I'm going to stay down here with the camera. I'm not going to keep moving it around, but I'll talk through it. All right. Now I'm going to measure my number 3 line. And I'll come down here and strike my numbers 3. Then, of course, the last one is 4. And if I laid this out okay, this should be right at the intersection of my center line coming down here. And yeah, it is. Okay, so number 4 is there. Number 4 is down here also. Now I'm going to take you back up to the top here. I guess I lied a couple minutes ago. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start measuring 1, 2, 3, and 4 again. I'm going to come from this corner, but I'm going to go to this corner way over here. So I'm going to open up my compass. Okay. And that is number 1. So I'll come down here and show you that. So I'm going to cross the number 1 right there. I'm going to do the same thing up here with the number 2. So I'm coming from the same reference point. So number 2, and I'm going to go to line number 2 there, that intersection. And I'll come down here and get my number 2. Okay, I'll do my measurement for 3. And then 4, just to double dumb check it, is going to be the center line again. And it is. Okay, good. So now I'm just going to put a dot right there for the center line one, so it's easier to see. Now, what I'll do is I'm going to connect these points. So again, this is a artistic representation. So kind of drawing like a little bit of a football shape here. And that's going to give you your pattern to cut out. You'll cut out this middle piece for our development.